Something has shifted inside the New Orleans Saints training camp, and it's far more than a simple update to the depth chart. It's the kind of transformation that can't be measured by position battles or roster tweaks. There's a new tone to practice, a sharper edge in every rep. What was once a routine midweek session now feels like a high-stakes proving ground. From the first whistle, it was clear. This is no longer a team searching for its identity. This is a team that believes it already knows who it is, and it's moving with purpose. The atmosphere is electric. Coaches aren't simply managing drills, they're igniting intensity. Players aren't just competing for roles, they're fighting for pride. Something deeper is stirring, something that hints at urgency and direction. Trash talk on the sideline? Louder. Reactions to referee calls? Fiercer. Leadership from the veterans? Unmistakably commanding. This isn't just a camp, it's a mission. And while most outsiders are still laser-focused on the quarterback competition, the real tone setter might be wearing number 41. Alvin Kamara hasn't just returned to camp, he's arrived with a presence that's commanding attention and possibly redefining this offense. From his physical transformation to his renewed explosiveness, Kamara looks like a man on a mission. He's added bulk to his frame, showing off stronger shoulders, crisper footwork, and a sharper sense of balance. At 30 years old, where most running backs begin to fade, Kamara looks more like the 25-year-old phenom who first lit up the league. He's not here to ease in, he's here to take over. In Kellen Moore's high-tempo, motion-heavy offense, Kamara is more than a back, he's the fulcrum. Moore's system thrives on chaos, space, and adaptability, and Kamara's unique versatility makes him a natural fit. Whether it's a swing pass, a misdirection run, or an option route out of the backfield, Kamara is seeing more touches than anyone else on offense. With tight ends like Juwan Johnson battling injuries and Taysom Hill still sidelined, Kamara has become the unit's most dependable option. And Moore's not hiding it, he's building this offense around him. Yet what makes all of this more compelling is how quiet the league has been about Kamara's resurgence. There's no media buzz, no defensive coordinators panicking in advance. But within the Saints facility, the staff knows exactly what they have. If the Saints are going to start the season swinging, Kamara won't just be part of the plan, he'll be the opening punch. Of course, that only leaves to one critical question: who will be handing him the ball? That battle is still unfolding, but the picture is beginning to sharpen, and Spencer Rattler is starting to rise above the crowd. Though the Saints haven't made anything official, their actions speak volumes. Rattler hasn't touched a third-team snap all week. In a camp where every quarterback is rotating, that detail matters. Every other arm has shifted between groups, except Rattler. He's quietly becoming the presumed leader. What's fueling his rise is consistency. Rattler isn't dazzling with highlight reel throws, but he's hitting every mark. His connection with Rashid Shaheed has become one of the most dependable links on the field, particularly in the red zone. His rollout timing, his ability to work through progressions, and his quick release under pressure have all impressed the coaching staff. Even more telling, when things break down, Rattler's looking for Mason Tipton, another rising name, and delivering clean, efficient passes. That said, the quarterback room is far from settled. Rookie Tyler Shaw has injected the competition with raw athleticism and a strong arm, but he's also shown the typical signs of inexperience. Forced throws, missed reads, a 2-interception day earlier this week exposed those flaws. But to his credit, he bounced back with a clean touchdown drive. The tools are there, the timing is not. And in this system, timing is everything. Then there's Jake Haener, the unexpected challenger, who just flipped the conversation. At the beginning of the week, Haener was barely in the mix. Running third-team reps, he seemed like a developmental afterthought. But one 2-minute drill changed all of that. With 1:40 on the clock and his unit down 4, Haener orchestrated a drive that didn't just impress, it stunned. He moved through progressions with poise, maintained composure under pressure, and led the offense down the field with surgical efficiency. And what happened at the goal line might have changed the depth chart. A controversial pass interference call moved the ball to the 1-yard line. Tempers flared, coaches argued, Brandon Staley even called a timeout to slow the moment down. But none of it rattled Haener. When play resumed, he rolled out right and zipped a strike to Mason Tipton for the game-winning score. His second touchdown of the session. A walk-off moment. A statement. That single drive didn't just turn heads. It may have altered Haener's future. Jake Haener's late practice heroisms weren't an isolated flash. They marked a turning point. Suddenly, a quarterback once dismissed as a mere camp body is firmly in the conversation. He hasn't leapfrogged Rattler, and the coaches haven't made any official announcements. But the perception has shifted. Haener is no longer invisible. He's no longer developing. He's delivering. And when a player starts stacking moments like these, the staff starts planning differently. Earlier that same practice, Haener delivered what many are calling the best throw of camp, a perfectly placed seam pass to Dante Pettis, threading it between two defenders. It wasn't just the velocity or accuracy, it was the anticipation, the feel for the window, and the fearlessness to throw it. These are not just traits of a quarterback hoping to survive camp. These are traits of a quarterback preparing to lead when called. While the quarterback drama has taken center stage, the Saints camp has also become a breeding ground for breakout stories, and few are as compelling as Mason Tipton. The second-year receiver out of Yale is doing more than making highlights. He's becoming a fixture. His chemistry with both Rattler and Haener is obvious, but it's his reliability that's making the difference. 2 touchdowns in one practice, clean separation at the line, trustworthy hands. Tipton is no longer just flashing potential, he's forcing the coaching staff to take notice. Tipton's rise is especially crucial considering the injuries and uncertainty at the position. Olave and Rashid Shaheed are locked in as key weapons, but depth will matter. And right now, Tipton looks like a player the Saints can't afford to stash. He's not just fighting for a spot, he's earning a role. On the defensive side, another under-the-radar player is stacking wins, Chris Rump. Fighting for rotational edge snaps behind Chase Young and Carl Granderson, Rump has quietly become one of the most disruptive defenders in camp. Day after day, he's creating pressure, beating tackles off the edge, and making backup quarterbacks uncomfortable. What began as hopeful flashes has now evolved into consistent impact. Coaches have moved past hoping he develops. They're beginning to build packages around his speed and motor. That's the kind of shift that gets a guy onto the 53. Further back in the defense, Julian Blackmon has brought stability when the Saints needed it most the road. With Tyrann Mathieu's retirement, there was a leadership void at safety. Blackmon stepped into it without hesitation. He's been leading the first-team reps alongside Justin Reid and bringing veteran poise to a young secondary. While Jordan Howden has flashed with a recent interception, Blackmon's steady command might be too valuable to overlook. His play recognition and communication are tightening up a unit that can't afford missteps. But none of this elevation happens without the coaching overhaul at the top. Brandon Staley and Kellen Moore didn't just bring schemes to New Orleans, they brought urgency. The scripted routines of past camps are gone, replaced with rapid-fire periods, live reps, and pressure-driven scenarios designed to mirror game chaos. Practices now feel like tests, situational football, clock management, 2-minute drills. Everything is designed to force players into uncomfortable moments and demand composure. And it's working. The young players are maturing faster, the veterans are competing harder. Every rep feels meaningful. Jake Haener's 2-minute touchdown wasn't just a coincidence. It was a byproduct of this new approach. The Saints aren't just preparing, they're sharpening. There's a noticeable difference in tone, structure, and accountability. With no practice schedule for Friday and full pads returning Saturday, the real proving ground begins now. The window is narrowing, the roster is hardening, and the quarterback competition remains alive. Rattler may lead today, but Haener is closing fast, and Shaw still has the arm to surprise. As the preseason looms, the biggest questions remain open. Will Kamara fuel a career resurgence and become the heartbeat of the offense? Is Spencer Rattler ready to lead this team into September? And which underdog, Tipton, Rump, or Haener, will force their way onto the final 53? The Saints aren't just warming up, they're accelerating. And what we've seen in camp is any indication this team is preparing to shock more than just the NFC South.